we are Black women who are more in a position to have both than now Black people living in Africa or white people living here in Europe.
Yeah.
So we are in that position of having both.
Being able to choose.
Exactly.
we can actually choose.
Yeah. And I find a relationship with a white person, many, there are also others, but the people I've been with, very equal. Yeah, that I really feel as an equal partner in the relationship. Yeah.
I never felt like I came and I was seen as I was. There was always an immediate hierarchy favoring the man. And whenever we went somewhere, the way people would look at me, it always got to me. I felt, and maybe this is not what they intended, but this is what I felt, as if he was doing me a favor. And I found that more hurtful than the struggle I experienced with my Black men, if I may say so. Because with Black men, I feel like we have the same struggle when we're in the diaspora. So I feel like I can understand them better than I understand my white men. That might sound generalizing, but I find it very important to really, really emphasize that this is our experiences and this is how we see the world and how we experienced our experiences. And of course, the people we will be talking about, the men, also have their own sides of the story.
Of course.
So obviously they are the only ones who can tell that side. But
we have not invited them for
we've not invited them for this conversation. Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of your favorite conversations, Far From Home Diaspora Conversations. My name is Wambui, and we are really glad that you have found time and space to come and join us in this conversation today. And actually today we have one that we might call a bit explosive, but we will see how that goes in the course of the conversation. But before we begin, as usual, we want to appreciate our sponsors, TEDx Media, for their continuous support. And as usual, you're going to be hearing about TEDx Media in the course of this conversation. So, Carol, what are we going to talk about today?
Yes, guys, also from me, welcome. My name is Carol Mimbrock, and today we are gonna, we were thinking about how to call this so that it doesn't, sound so extreme, but this is what it is.
Yeah.
We are talking about Black men versus white men, dating Black men versus white men. We are talking about our experiences.
Yes.
The men we have dated.
Yeah.
We're not generalizing. It's not every Black man. It's not every Black woman. It's not not white man, white Black man, white man. Because we have dated men. Yeah. So that's our experience. We're talking about our experiences.
Which is actually very important, because this is why I say this might be explosive, because of course we are saying Black men versus white men. And that might sound generalizing, but I find it very important to really, really emphasize that this is our experiences and this is how we see the world and how we experienced our experiences. And of course, the people we will be talking about, the men, also have their own sides of the story.
Of course.
So obviously they are the only ones who can tell that side. But
we have not invited them for the
we've
next
not
time.
invited them for this conversation.
I don't know, we would leave the whole restaurant,
For you, Cara, for you. Okay, we will go into that.
This has started really well. I see that already.
Yeah. But maybe before we begin, maybe we should tell our listeners, why is this topic important? Why is it important to talk about Black men versus white men? Why do you think this is necessary?
I think it's important because not everybody has this, I will call it luxury of having had Black men or having Black men and also white men. So we can comfortably talk about both because we've had both.
Yes.
And I also think it's important for somebody who is may be thinking of, we are not saying whoever you will meet, or that this is better or this is not. I think it's how we both experience and experienced who we had.
Yeah.
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 And because we are here in the diaspora, this is something that is, I think, also normal to talk about, because
Yeah.
we are Black women who are more in a position to have both than now Black people living in Africa or white people living here in Europe.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
we are in that position of having both.
Being able to choose.
Exactly.
we can actually
Yeah.
choose.
Yeah.
And I think for me it's also important to address the fact that when I say Black men, and this is maybe where Caro might disagree. When I say Black men, I do not mean the Black men in Kenya. Somehow in the faculties of my mind, Black men in Kenya are under the shelf of Kenyan men. I don't know. I don't consider them as Black men.
I need more explanation.
I don't know.
Yeah. Explain that, please. Explain that.
I will explain. I feel that the identity of Blackness for me never really played a role when I was in Kenya.
True.
So it never played a role when I was looking at people. They had other defining characters.
But not the color of their skin.
Not the color of their skin, because we're all Black. So there was nothing to talk about there.
Yeah.
And also because that plays no role, I find that their Blackness doesn't really affect or influence who they are.
That's true.
And also, Black men in Kenya are generally Kenyans. Black men in the diaspora are not generally Kenyans.
That's
Black
true.
men in the diaspora are Nigerians, are men from Jamaica, are whatever you may call it. Black men are diverse in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Of course, there are Nigerians in Kenya. These days, there are actually many, but still.
Yeah.
You know,
we have more Kenyan men in Kenya than other. Yeah.
Yes, than anywhere else in the world.
That's true.
So that's why for me, this category of Black men, when I talk about Black men, I mean Black men that I've dated in diaspora. If I'm talking about men, I didn't really do serious dating in Kenya. When I was in Kenya, I was still very young. So whenever I talk about Black men, it will be Black men in Deutschland, in Germany, in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But I haven't had a Black man in Germany. So that would close me out of talking about Black men if I cannot talk about Black men, the Kenyan Black men that I dated.
No, I didn't say what you are going to talk about.
No, then we have to have one more category of Kenyan men, Black men, and white men.
See the dilemma, guys. But you cannot say that because your first white man, you dated him in Kenya. So we cannot have that category of...
But he was not...
He was not
Kenyan. That was where we met.
Okay.
But the real relationship happened here. Yeah.
Well,
maybe we can talk about the differences a bit.
Maybe we can.
Yeah.
Maybe that will be interesting.
Yeah.
So let's start. You're starting.
You're starting.
Okay.
Yeah. Where do I start now?
Maybe you need... shall I give you a question?
Yes, please. That is good. Yeah.
Okay. A question that I am actually very interested in. What was your experience between dating a Black man, a Kenyan man in Kenya, and a white man in Kenya? What was the difference? One, in your expectations. What did you expect of the relationship? And also, how was the general feeling when you were with him? Did you feel like you had achieved something special? What did you feel when you dated a white man in Kenya?
Yeah. Being with a Kenyan now, the Black man in Kenya, a Kenyan, was a normal thing. Not anything special, not... it was happening the way we we had learned or seen that relationships happen. Of course, in love, but I feel like now, you said we live life. There's something you said now. Yeah, you see the things you
backwards.
did backwards. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Backwards. So now I think there's a lot of limitation of how a relationship should be. Societal limitations, how a woman is seen, what you do, and even when it comes to things like sex, how you behave. So you don't want to maybe be free in asking, or you wait a lot for the man to initiate things.
This is when you're dating a Kenyan man in Kenya.
Yeah. Mostly it's also the man who is approaching you as a woman. Yeah. So that is this traditional, I'll say traditional because I don't know. Nowadays, I don't really know where to place anything. I feel like things have evolved in a way that I have no description for everything. But that was my feeling, a bit limited, which is not a bad thing. There's a kind of respect for that unity that was a bit different when I met a white man.
Okay, how so?
So when I met a white man, I was feeling free to try out things that I would not with a black man. I would not have trusted myself to do, because there was this kind of this traditional respect for the unity of a boyfriend girlfriend is very different from the one, you don't want to be seen as, I don't know, a prostitute or somebody who is, showing things to a man. The man is showing you what to do. He has
He's the
initiator of things. And that is what I found different with a white man, because there I somehow was feeling free to initiate things, to talk about things in a different way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was less pressure of society somehow. You felt like society did not apply to him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
This society, what we are told, how sex is seen as this sacred thing that happens behind doors between you two. Nobody should know about it. We are not even talking about it. As boyfriend and girlfriend, we do it.
It happens by mistake somehow.
Yes.
To never be spoken about.
Under the blanket. Sometimes
Lights
even
out.
just, push the
underwear
underwear to the side. You have never seen the other person naked. No, it was not exactly like that. But that is how sometimes it feels like.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a time my sister was so angry. She's really church person and all that. They don't talk about sex. And I asked her, then tell me, how did you get your kids? How did that happen? At least we have at least three
proofs that sex happened.
Must have. It must have happened. So did you go under the blankets and just pull your underwear to the side? And she was so angry at me.
Shut up. Don't talk about it. Don't mention it. Yeah, I know. There's this shame that has been associated with sexuality. At least also where I grew up. You did not talk about sex, and whenever you talked about it, it was bad. It was something bad, something wrong. Don't mention it. Don't desire it even.
Don't
like
desire
a
it,
being that desires sex is seen as a bad thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember I had a thing with a Kenyan person, a Kenyan man when I was back in Kenya. And at some point we were talking about masturbation, and he was like, that's a sin. That's a sin. God can seriously punish you for that, and especially things like women are not supposed to fill in the blank. So there was that shame and pressure, and don't desire sex because it does not belong to you. It belonged to the man, and so that's why he's also the one who initiated. Because it belongs to him. You have no business initiating anything that does not belong to you.
That's very true. Yeah, but when I now coming to you, when I remember the last conversation we had, you said your preference is for black men. So what is the difference now for you between, I know in Kenya you did not really date, but is there a difference you can see between the Kenyan men in Kenya that you dated and the black men in Germany?
Definitely. Definitely, because especially if we are really talking about also the sexuality in itself, for me, I never felt like I had a choice when I was in Kenya. And here I always feel like I have a choice. And dating...
A choice means to choose how you want to have the sex, or to choose your sex partner?
How and if.
How and if. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I was not aware that I had a choice. Of course, theoretically, yes. But practically, it took a very long time for me to understand that I had that choice of how, why, when sex happens to me, and not as a passive object, but someone who actively takes part in it. But relationship-wise, what I see, there are still very many things that are the same. There is still this, and I can only talk about myself. I don't know how the men in this constellation think. There's still this, I sort of give it more sacredness when it's with a black person than when it's with a white person. I can definitely say I experience more freedom with white people than with white men than black men, because I also don't feel so much pressure. I have often felt like when I have dated a white person that I was free to be whoever.
Yes.
And I have felt when I was with black people that I was not really free, that there was already an identity that had been described for me, and I was supposed to live up to that. This is what I have felt and still feel to this day. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% with that. These men being, and it's okay for men to want you, but somehow you feel like it's not okay for you to want them.
Yes.
You're judged for wanting to be with a man, or to have a relationship with a man. And that is also one thing that I have found different, very different, is the issue of equality in many things. Feeling not what the black man is doing, but me feeling equal in a relationship. Because I'm talking about myself. So I might have been with people who saw me as equal partner, but I did not feel equal. Because the African culture is mostly the man is the head of the family. So you always feel like the man is the head. And even as a boyfriend, you still see them somehow in that light of them being above you. When it came to the white person I was dating, I felt the equality in the relationship. Yeah. And that is a big difference for me, a very big difference. And that could also be the reason why I have, because, I've always been called kichwa ngumu. Like I have this very strong personality. And that doesn't do so well with many African men. Many, not all. There are people who can deal with that, but many would see me as somebody who's not, going one step below to acknowledge this is the man of the house. He comes, and everybody does things the way they want and how they were taught to do and how But I'm not that kind of a person. I'll cook for you when you come. I'll remove your shoes. That's a bit exaggerated, but
Not doing it.
no. So I cannot do that. And I find a relationship with a white person, many, there are also others, but the people I've been with, very equal. Yeah, that I really feel as an equal partner in the relationship. Yeah.
I totally get that. I can 100% also say the same thing. I have dated, okay, I only had dated one white person, but that's also the experience I had, that I never felt this hierarchy.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, I always feel it with black men, even if they themselves don't want it.
But it's there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Like I remember I dated a black man who was very much against this hierarchy, and he was very much telling me, I don't want you to put me in this hierarchy you've put me in. But it's like the way you're saying, the way I was raised, some of these things sit so deep, such that I can be telling you one thing, but behaving in a very different way, because this is what comes automatically.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not checking myself, my default mode
is that.
That's how it will be.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have, and you know, things that are default, you have to really work hard.
Yeah.
To relearn
constantly
them.
check.
To constantly check what you're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's difficult. We know there are some African communities where the women still kneel for the man. And
when I hear that, I always feel, oh my God, I don't want to kneel down for anyone.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And,
And that's a way of showing respect. But then I ask myself, how does the other person show respect in return?
Yeah. Or don't I deserve?
Yeah. Why am I kneeling for that person? So, and it's not the kneeling that we're talking about here, but still there's that thing inside that tells you this person is somehow above me.
Yeah. And you know, it's also gets reflected a lot. You know, like I remember one situation. I was with a friend somewhere. We were singing, and there was food on the table, and everybody was supposed to serve themselves food. And I remember this black guy pointing to the food and looking at my friend, who was a woman. And my friend looked at him and looked at the food and asked, "What?" And the guy was like, you know, he didn't even find the necessity to use words.
What he wanted.
Yes.
It should be obvious.
It should be
that
obvious.
You woman,
you are serving me. Exactly.
Yeah.
And mind you, he has not cooked the food. He has not brought no plate to the table. And I hear many men saying, "What are you bringing to the table?" He has not brought nothing to the table, but he's pointing to the food. And then you know what he said? "This is why you black women are not finding men."
Oh, Jesus.
And my friend looked at him and told him, even if you were the last man in this world, I would never, ever
my God.
want to date you.
Oh.
And you know, that was a clash of expectations. A typical clash of expectations. Because I have seen women who do that, you know?
Yeah.
A man points to the plate, and a woman stands up and goes and serves and sits down, and that doesn't seem to bother them. I don't know how they do it, because me just watching makes me angry. I don't know why I'm getting angry. Even now I'm getting angry. I don't even know why. So those are things that, when I think about them, they scare me, because I know this is not a life I would choose for myself.
Yeah. And do you think you have somehow changed since you came to Germany in regard to this? Here is a quick one to tell you about our sponsors, TDX Media. I've been working with TDX Media for about 5 years now, and this has saved my life, literally saved my life. TDX Media has a way of helping you to optimize your office work. So I am a very chaotic person. My office was looking like you can imagine it. And then TDX Media came, and they really helped me to optimize the processes, especially the processes of how I work, what should happen when, they came and advised me. They came and sorted out most of most of my files and all that, because I am not that. And then my website, it's beautiful because it is being maintained, it is being serviced by TDEX Media. And then the CEO of the company, Christian Tiedemann, who does all that, comes to you, advises you, he talks to you, he listens to your needs, and then crafts everything according to how you need it, but adding his professionalism in everything that he does, such that at the end of it all, and he will not use anything he doesn't think is okay for the person visiting your website. So if your photos are not good enough, then he'll not put them in. And that is the level of professionalism that I need when I'm working with someone, so that they just don't do everything I tell them to do. They tell me, okay, it's your website, but it has my name on it. So he will not do anything that is not professional enough. And the other thing is event management. Guys, these guys are so organized. TDEX Media is so organized. They have taken control and over. They organize our African festival, which happens every year. So I have nothing to do with it. The first year I organized it myself. I almost went crazy. And nowadays I just get calls, or when we're talking, it's a yes, no, and I have nothing to do with it. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I love working with these people. I love the way they, present themselves in a way that is, I will talk about professionalism the whole time, because that is what they are. They are professionals. And you see that in everything they do. When they're doing consultations with you, they are very specific in everything that they're doing. You can only be satisfied when you're working with TDEX Media. And I'm so glad that have trusted us now to sponsor our podcast. And I've been working with them all this time, satisfied with their work. I'll continue working with them. So please visit their website, www.tdex.de. That's www.tiedex.de. Visit them, because you'll be doing yourself a favor. Thank you so much.
I have definitely changed.
That these things disturb you more now, and they were normal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because when I was home, they used to annoy me, but I did not know that there was a possibility for different things. I didn't know that you could have it any other way. Nobody modeled that for me, that I saw men doing anything in the house. So I thought this is how it should be. It made me angry, but I did it resentfully. And it's since I came here that I have, of course, also changed a lot. And it's impossible for me today to serve someone like that out of meekness. And don't get me wrong, I serve people. I love serving, but not because it's an expectation or it's a role that I've been given. Then I don't want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different, because I also cannot imagine myself in this role.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to say I would kill somebody, but it would kill me.
Yes.
It would kill me inside
Yes.
to think that would be my life.
Yeah.
And why? The question is why?
Yeah.
These are
Why
things
should I do
that you are capable of doing.
Yeah.
And also the expectations and the how you Verteilung, Rollenverteilung. What is it called?
Division of labor.
Division of labor. That sounds like I know how you divide how the roles are, divided in the house. Who does what? There are some things I find that, for example, with black men, there are some black men who will say, "I don't go to the kitchen." I think it's the Merus who don't enter the kitchen. It's men don't do that. I've had something like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that is something that was very different when I met my white boyfriend. We would come home. he would take the Hoover and would start doing it. You know, like
It's normal.
self-sufficient. It's a normal thing.
Yeah.
It's a
Which
normal
it
thing.
is,
He's doing. And sometimes I was like, oh, okay.
He's doing it.
Yeah. Or just going and making himself something to eat or to drink. And I know, for example, I didn't have a father who was at home, so I didn't have that example of what happens with a father. But my brothers were cooking when we were at home. But then when there was a woman, a wife in their lives, it became the wife who was serving them. And I was like, why? You know?
How did they happen?
Yeah, yeah. And that is something that would disturb me a lot. If I was to be with a black person now who would expect me to do such things, I think I would not be capable. No matter how much I love somebody, it has nothing to do with love. That's what I think. And yeah, I would not be capable of doing that. So how do you navigate around that? Because you said it's still something that is inside you. How do you navigate around that? Because I know you consciously date black people. Yeah.
The black people I've dated up to now, they're people who actually cook. I have never been with someone who says, I'm not doing this and this in the house. For me, that person loses attraction immediately. I cannot be attracted to such a person because I feel like you're being an oppressor. For me, if you refuse to take care of your own life and you expect someone else to do that, for me, that is oppression. And I find nobody should have a right to do that. And I experienced that as double oppression as a black woman in the diaspora. I refuse to have double oppression. Of course, there are things that are still very much in that direction. Okay, I'm the woman, so I get to do this. And in most of my relationships, I cook more. But I find that if there is respect, then I don't mind that. I don't mind cooking more if I know that you also do the cooking or you also do other things.
Something else. Yeah.
You're doing something else. We are in this together. I'm not the one left with the labor, you know. And I think those are things I wouldn't do today. And even when I was with a white man, I still cooked more than he did.
Yeah.
So for me, that thing of cooking, I don't know. I think it's very general in many constellations I've been in, regardless of what culture. I have seen that the woman generally does more of the house stuff than the man does. Of course, there's more and less of whatever it is, but at least this is what I experience.
Yeah, yeah.
So I try to be very conscious also about when I'm sort of also oppressing myself, because that is also possible. You know, I give myself the role, I'm the woman, so I'm supposed to do this, and then I do it.
Yeah.
And I find that is even the oppression that hurts most when I'm doing it to myself.
Yeah, yeah.
So I try to be
It's
very
not asked
conscious.
for, but you do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, I make many mistakes and I'm learning. So I think it's also good to be in relationships once in a while so that I can see, how have I developed so far? What am I doing that I still need to change?
Yeah. Yeah. That's especially this self-consciousness. You have to have a lot of that. And I think that is in every relationship, even with the white people, because they also come with their expectations.
Yes.
Especially if you're a black person.
Yes.
So there's this thing of, I heard that, that this woman is now here to serve me. You know, she should wake up and do my breakfast and do this for me and do this for me. And you have to jump above that and really show no, because they know that this is how our African tradition is. So they are men, and we have to be very conscious of that. Even you know, people who think I'll just get a white man and everything is done okay. there are some who go especially for that.
Yeah.
They go and get black people because they think we
Yeah.
are weaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or more submissive.
More submissive. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a weakness that they think is we have. Or the sexual thing. You know, they expect more
Improvisation.
no, this submissiveness also in that.
Okay.
That they could have you how they want because you know, and especially because when you come to this country, you also don't have much.
Yeah, you
so
have
you're
nothing.
dependent on this person. So you still, even when these relationships are a bit different from the ones we have at home, you still have to be assertive in a way to come to that equal level. Otherwise, and this is even, I think this is even worse than when you're doing that at home.
Yeah.
Because the minute you drop to that level here, then you have a problem.
And I think also that's why I very consciously date black, because I can take that better than from whiteness. This form of me being submissive and what it does to me. I find that I'm able to, I don't even know how to frame this. Like, whenever I say I choose to be in white relationships, it rarely has to do with the man himself, but it often has a lot to do with the whole culture, the whole thing that I will be taking with me when I'm dating white. It's mostly the friends, also the family. And whenever I've been in this constellation, I never felt like an equal. With the man himself, I felt like an equal. But with the rest of the family, I felt like there was this undertone of he is doing me a favor for us to be together, or there's something I want from him. I want papers, I want whatever. I constantly felt that I had to prove my humanity, my intelligence, and I felt that that went deeper. The core of this, with a black man, often I have to prove myself as a woman, which is not necessarily very, very good, but it's a smaller task, I feel, than this whole thing of this whole family. And whenever we met, I'm asked about my progress in things. There was always, I never felt like I came and I was seen as I was. There was always an immediate hierarchy favoring the man. And whenever we went somewhere, the way people would look at me, it always got to me. I felt, and maybe this is not what they intended, but this is what I felt, as if he was doing me a favor. And I found that more hurtful than the struggle I experienced with my black men, if I may say so. Because with black men, I feel like we have the same struggle when we're in the diaspora. So I feel like I can understand them better than I understand my white men.
That's true. These especially that's the other level now with the parents, because and friends even. It's true, you'll always be seen as somebody who wants something from the white person.
Yeah. Like I have nothing to give.
Yeah, you cannot be with him just for
because
love.
You love them.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
That is this very big assumption that really angers me.
Yes.
And even when you get to the point of wanting to have children, it's always seen as a motive for you to stay in Germany.
Exactly.
Are you getting a kid now because maybe you want to leave him? So you have now your stand.
Exactly.
There's a lot of, you not being trusted. Your intentions are not.
Yes.
Motives and intentions are not really trusted.
Yeah.
And I've had that with somebody when I got with somebody together, and the mother was in kind of panic, telling me, please, don't get a child. You can do an arranged marriage. We can arrange that, but don't get a child because that will be ruining somebody's life.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Oh my God. And I was like, it's horrible.
And I was in love, and I was with this person because I was in love.
Yeah.
And the feeling that this person now thinks that I am with their son just so that I can stay in Germany.
And that your child would ruin their lives.
Yeah.
Because your child will be black.
Yeah, because that child will be born only because...
For the papers.
For the papers, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
And if you have to swallow that constantly,
yeah,
that is very painful. And if you're now with a partner who does not understand that, and every time you say that
as a problem,
and doesn't see it as a problem, that can be really, really painful.
Yeah.
And I think this is what I constantly experienced. It was that, and then bringing it home and trying to have a conversation about this, and sort of feeling like I'm the crazy one here.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be seeing all these things. I should feel different about what people say or the comments that I hear outside.
Yeah.
And I think for me that was, I don't know if today maybe I have enough assertiveness maybe to be able to pick my own fights. But back then for me that was really, really constantly horrible.
Yeah. But that's even when you're assertive enough, Wambui, there are things that you're still human.
It goes to the core.
You're still human.
Yeah.
And that is what I wanted to say. I've somehow until now said more the advantages of being with a white person. But being with a white person, the biggest baggage is that one.
Yeah.
The being seen as, and not only by the white people, even by the black people.
Yes.
You're seen as you're with this person because you want them to help you, they are providing for you. And and then comes the issue of the family and you wanting to prove yourself over and over again.
And that is fucking exhausting.
All
the time.
And I did not have that feeling in Kenya. That's not a feeling I had.
That's it.
Okay, it was not a marriage, but still there were families involved. But when I sat there like a human being. I didn't need to, of course there is this respect of mother-in-law and you want your mother-in-law to like you or something like that. But you're not under such pressure that you feel like your whole humanness is
being questioned. I
and
know.
that is what it is here. And mostly they come as a family.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it's not this one human. This one person I can deal with. The baggage that he brings. And also what you said, even from the black people. I told you once, I went with my German ex-boyfriend to Kenya. And I remember I went to church and sang a song. And a woman came to me after church and told me, God has finally shown his face on you.
Wow.
God has... Can you process this? God has finally shown his face upon you because I was with a white man. And that really hit me bad. I was so mad. I thought, what? How do you bring God in this? How do you make this one human being so important in my life? Close to godliness. This is God now, you know, and not what I am bringing in his life, but what he's bringing.
You don't bring anything to
I don't
the
bring
table.
Nothing. He has seen me and found me worthy. Oh my God. I was. And even, like I said, even from my mom, I gave my mom a really nice bag. I went looking for that bag in Rongai. I will never forget. I was searching for that bag. I found really nice one in Rongai. I put some money inside and gave it to my mom.
She thanked him?
My mom said, tell him thank you. Mwambie asante. Mwambie asante. And Carol, those were the days when I really used to go cleaning. I was really struggling for my money because I was still a student, and it was rough. It was for me to earn money. It was really, really rough. And for me to put this money in my mom's handbag, I felt so much joy. I was like, I want to present this to my mom, and she took that away from me.
Yeah.
In saying that, because she could not see that I was capable. Of
especially
doing that.
with him together.
You
were sending her money before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now you're with this white man. So this money has to come.
It has to come from him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that is so annoying. It is just, it just gets on.
Yeah.
Even just walking through the airport and seeing how he was being treated.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to beat people so often. People were just moving out of the street saying hello, calling him sir. And no one is calling me madam.
Nobody is calling you madam.
We are the same age.
Yeah.
Carol, we are the same age. We were earning the same money. He did not have any more money than I did. We were both young. We were both just starting with life.
Yeah.
But his
whiteness.
His whiteness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is something that really angers me a lot when I'm in Kenya or when people are telling you, give us that money from this Muzungu.
Yes.
Stop being mean.
Stop being mean.
Yes, give us. What?
Which money?
You guys, if you knew how many hours I work.
Exactly.
I get so angry.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the anger.
Yeah.
And this, being in a relationship with a white person brings along such kind of anger.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. Yeah.
Being with a black person also brings anger.
But a different kind of anger. Yeah, but I think I don't know if I would love the experience of being with a black man here in Germany. I don't know. I have never consciously thought about it. But the other thing that is really, really, really different, and I cannot talk for every black man, of course, or Kenyans, is the fact that the men here talk to their mothers mostly about almost everything.
Oh.
Yes. And that was, for me, it was like, what did you tell your mother?
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
A Kenyan man would never sit with his mother and talk about sex.
No.
I take that back. A Kenyan man would never. The men I knew in Kenya, I don't know how it is nowadays because we are
Maybe things have changed,
a different generation.
Yeah.
So,
but it's still, even with things having changed, it is still not a very common conversation between moms and sons.
No.
Not even between dads and sons, to be honest.
No. But there are white men who will be telling their mothers almost everything. So you'll go shopping, the mother will know what you have bought. They talk, which I can imagine my son, because we talk a lot, that he would be telling me something. We were shopping and this, and because they tell it mostly out of excitement. But then some things, and the problem is, you do that together, but then you'll be blamed for overspending your money. So the son is telling this excited, we went shopping and she bought new shoes for 150.
150.
Just of that talk of how much the shoes are.
Okay.
And then, what did she buy? and then you're seated, and these things don't come like, and then you're seated and, but when you're saying you don't have money to go on holiday now, if you didn't buy shoes for 300, you will have money.
I get it.
Yeah. So they tell their mothers a lot. So ladies.
Oh yes, that was a big one for me. But you know what was even bigger for me?
What?
I walked to my ex's home where his mom also was. And the mom was just standing there with swimming costume. She was not naked. But the immediate thought for me was, run. She's standing here, she's naked. With swimming costume.
You have never seen your mother with...
No. My mother? No. And this is his mother. And this is the first time we're meeting.
Mother-in-law.
Yes. And she's just standing there in summer. She's like, oh, it's nice you're here. Come in. I'm like, okay. This is how they do. And then she's like, oh, you can also remove your clothes. You can wear your swimming costume. No. It's okay. I'm good. You know. And it took a lot of time for me to be okay with that. You know. And I got so okay, Caro, such that by the end of our relationship, me and her actually went to the sauna together. Which means we were both naked.
Yeah.
But I have
Nakedness
gotten,
is not a big issue.
it's not a biggie.
Yeah.
But by then, man, that was really difficult for me.
Swimming
Man, Jesus. Or even her folding her son's underwears. Because she had washed them. For her, these are just normal pieces of clothes.
Yeah.
For me, there is a difference.
Between
There's
something that you
t-shirt.
wear under there.
This is not normal fabric. Like, how is she doing this? You know, for me, this was the culture. Now, when we talk about culture shock,
That's the
people
culture
talk about
shock.
culture shock and they think it's the machines we see in Germany
and the
or
cars
or in the car.
No.
It's such
It's
things.
seeing your mother-in-law in a swimming
In a
costume.
bikini.
That is a culture shock.
That is a freaking culture shock. I'm telling you, people, is really, man.
Yeah. And these things are really shocking at some point.
It is. You stand there with your mouth. You don't know what. Because in Kenya, if I was in Kenya, the thing that would have been most acceptable for me was to turn around
And
don't
let
see
that
the nakedness.
older woman to dress
Yes,
up.
let's
It was by
allow.
mistake that
It was by
she-
mistake. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry for seeing you
Forgive
almost
me.
naked.
Forgive me for this. It was turn around, be very humble, and
Close
just
your eyes
close
and-
your eyes, say
and forget
pole,
that.
pole,
Yeah.
pole, pole. Yes, she even wants to, I think she even hugged me
With her swimming costume.
with her breast just like that. So that was difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's these are things that one would never think of. But they are also
Yeah, they play a role. And
Yeah.
of course, there are expectations and expectations and expectations,
Yeah.
which you do not know because of the cultural differences.
Yeah.
And if you're not talking, these cultural differences and these expectations, they come back and bite your head. And this was my experience. They come back and really hit you hard.
Yeah.
And any relationship which is cross-cultural really needs a lot of communication.
Yeah, it needs a lot of communication. When you're not communicating, because there are so many things that are different. So many things. If you are with a black man, you both know we are helping our parents, we
Yeah,
are
it's
sending
normal.
money
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
But these people don't.
Yeah.
In any case, they are getting money from their parents. Most of them.
Yes.
Most of them get money from. So when you start saying, I have to send money home, I don't know for what, they are like, why?
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
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 And so it has, it becomes something you start thinking, now what do I do? Next time I have to, ask for money again, especially if you're not working. It's really
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And especially if you're not independent. That's why really if you have a possibility to be independent in any way in the diaspora more than home,
Yeah.
it is so important
Yeah.
to have your money, even if it's little, if it's possible.
Yeah.
Because that just gives you a bit more autonomy, I think.
That's true. That's true. But something I'm also interested in is sexual experience. Black men, white men.
You want us to start this now?
No, just generally say, because we are saying black versus, so that belongs to the whole package. Or not?
Sex between black men and women.
No, not between
no.
black men and women. That's the other category. We are not dealing with that today.
Hey, confusion. Hey.
Yeah. Just generally.
I don't know. I have had good sex with white men. I've also had really bad sex with black men. I don't know. I can say I feel more free with a white man
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to sexuality,
Mm.
or when it comes to saying what I want, when I want what. With black men, it has taken a lot of learning. It takes a lot of learning for me to be able to be autonomous in my own sexuality. And how free I am affects the quality of sex.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Sex for me happens in the head. I don't know about other people, but for me, it's not about the penis, the size. Okay. I don't know. Let me just say this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not really about the size of whatever.
Okay.
It's about the freedom in my head
Yeah.
and how free I feel to be in this moment right now. And that I have most with white men, just like that without thinking. And with my black men, I am learning, and it gets better. It becomes an easier experience. I must also say that when I was dating a white person, I really needed I needed alcohol to have sex. That was a time when I needed a lot of healing with my own sexuality. I have never had sex with a white man when I was not drunk.
Okay.
Okay, not drunk, but not drunk any form of alcohol that would change the state of my mind.
Okay.
So I don't know how it feels. I actually don't know. Yeah.
It's the time you were really numbing. So.
Yeah, it was the time I was really numbing and very, very, very unhappy. So the time I have been myself, I've always been with a black man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say the same in the other direction. I've had good sex with black men, but I think I've had more interesting, enjoyable sex with white men. Yeah. I'm able to, I'm free. I don't limit myself in my head, how will he see me, which I always had somehow with black men. I don't want him to think that,
You're promiscuous.
Yeah. So I want him to think we are doing this for the first time, even if I'm not a virgin, but
And
somehow
touchy. And God is watching.
God is watching and I have to be the first one for him. No, I mean, you know what I mean.
I know
it's
what
like,
you mean.
Yeah, it's like, also, talking about partners in a general way. I heard that partner and I find this general relationship sex talks easier with a white man than with a black man. And I can talk about sex in a way that I think it's also about the age. We should not forget that, because in Kenya I was really young.
Yeah.
And in that age, you're not really, you don't know yourself really. And now I can exactly tell you where to touch me. And,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that with a black man because I've not experienced that now. But I know myself better.
Yeah.
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 So.
And that does a lot.
Yeah.
Just knowing your own body.
Exactly.
And knowing that you're free to say, no, I don't like it when you do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. It takes a lot of courage as
a
well.
lot of courage.
And
even
trust.
with the white men.
Even
it takes
with
a
a
lot
white
of,
man.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of trust as well. How will this be taken?
Yeah.
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 Will this be a fight after this?
Yeah.
Is someone going to be angry?
Yeah. Will that injure somebody's ego? Will
yes.
That, yeah.
Some
So
people are just very insecure about their own sexuality.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that's a topic on its own.
Yeah.
Sex
Yeah,
topic.
probably.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just have that conversation.
I think that's a good one. True. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can wrap this up now.
Yeah, let's
and
finish
say,
this one.
Yes.
Yes.
That was a good one. Yes.
So this is us
So,
wrapping up, guys.
Facet is black versus white. There are disadvantages, advantages. Both, they are
Yeah.
the
There
way
will
they
be-
are.
yeah.
I think everybody has their own preferences.
Yeah.
And you just have to know some of the things that happen here and
Yeah.
on the other side, and how to deal and live with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk.
Talk, communication.
Talk.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday as usual with another nice, hot topic.
Exactly. Have
Yeah.
a good one. Bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Subscribe, comment, like, do all
Spread
those
the
things.
message.
Spread the message.
Yeah. Write us private messages.
And tell us about you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, especially I'm interested in the women in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Who like us have had this too. Please let us know. If you don't feel comfortable writing in the comments, you can write to us directly.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.